What's your favorite daily running shoe? It's a question I receive all the time, and I usually give an answer like this. There's no real best daily running shoe. Some are big and cushy and comfortable, others are light and hard and bouncy, but there's no best one. And people don't like that answer. They want to know which one is the best. Over the last year, our team at Marathon Handbook has tested dozens of daily trainers, everyday running shoes, and we've come up with a list of the 5 best. So, without further ado, here are our top 5 picks for the best daily trainers of 2024. Let's go. So just 2 quick things before we start. Note that this list contains only daily training shoes and not racing shoes or super shoes. We'll talk about racing sneakers in an upcoming video. The second thing is that you should use this list as a guide if you're looking to get a new pair of training shoes. But don't take it as gospel. If you have a type of running shoe that you really like and that we didn't happen to put it on our list, don't just trade shoes for the sake of it. Stick with what you know. But if you're curious, try out these shoes, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. Okay, let's start at number 5. The Brooks Glycerin Max. In recent years, we've seen shoe companies be really innovative around their racing shoes, experimenting with different sizes and foams, but not so much in the training shoe realm. That was new this year, and the Glycerin Max is a really good example of that. Just by looking at it, you can tell that it's not a regular training shoe. It's actually shaped more like a super trainer with a huge slab of foam underneath. Brooks calls it nitrogen-infused DNA-tuned foam, which is meant to be responsive but also steady. So none of that wobbly feeling that you might get when you run on shoes with platforms this tall. The Glycerin Max also contains a little surprise, because at first glance it looks like a pretty chunky shoe and maybe even a slow shoe. But those little holes on the outsole are part of what Brooks calls dual cell technology, and basically they're little energy storing pockets that help with a snappy toe off. And all that tech together makes for a really comfortable shoe. See, I haven't been a fan of these big, bulky super trainers for easy runs because many of them I find have too much power and they force you to run too quickly on easy days. But the Glycerin Max is a little bit different in that way. It doesn't propel you forward more than it should, but has just a little bit of pop to keep your easy runs interesting. The Glycerin Max might be for you if you like a shoe with a whole lot of support, if you're looking for a sneaker that can carry you through easy runs but also tempo and pickup runs, and if you're willing to try something new. Don't expect this to feel like the regular Glycerin. And the Glycerin Max might not be for you if you're not a fan of tall shoes. So yeah, here you are pretty high off the ground. Also, if you're looking for something that's pretty light, 10.5 ounces is quite chunky. And then also, if you're looking to save money, the Glycerin Max is a bit more sophisticated than your regular training shoe because of the foam, and the price does reflect that. Okay, time for number 4. The Hoka Skyflow. So until the Skyflow, most Hoka training shoes felt the same. They were cushy and soft, and I mean, why change it? Everyone seemed to really like them. So that was my confusion when the Skyflow came out, because it felt nothing like any of its siblings. The difference is that the midsole is a lot firmer. Instead of having a big, light, marshmallow-like slab of foam like you see in the Cliftons, the Skyflow has a slab of light and responsive supercritical foam, kind of like you'd see in Hoka's faster workout shoes, like the Mach. But aside from being firmer, the Skyflow is still totally Hoka and takes some of the best things that other Hoka shoes like the Clifton have, like the active foot frame and the heel cradle, which both keep your foot in place and then prevent side-to-side motion, which has always been a problem for me when I run. And then there's the Meta Rocker profile that encourages a little bit of forward motion through the foot and helps you get on your toes at the end of your stride. It's kind of like a Clifton, but a bit more firepower and durability. To me, it's the best shoe, or at least the best training shoe, that Hoka's made yet. So I'd say the Skyflow might be for you if you're a fan of Hoka's shape and geometry, but also you'd like something a little bit harder. You might also like it if you're someone who enjoys a little bit of propel forward on your training days, because the Skyflow does have a little bit of hidden muscle. And then the last thing is, if you like a low heel to toe drop, this might also be a good match. Conversely to that, I would advise you to stay away from the Skyflows if you're not really into a training shoe with a lot of muscle and you want something a bit more conservative. And then also, if you just enjoy how Cliftons feel and you like the regular Hoka training shoe feel, then just stick to that, because this does feel a lot different. Okay, number 3. Oh boy. The Nike Invincible Run 3. Now I'm bracing myself here because we made a similar video called the best shoes of 2024 so far. I ranked my precious Invincible Run 3 as number 1 and received a ton of flack in the comments. And 6 months later, I stand by my decision. So I get it. Some people find Nikes super uncomfortable. I didn't necessarily consider myself a Nike person. This is what won me over. So as I just mentioned when we were talking about the Hoka shoe, I tend to waddle a little bit. This shoe helped me correct that in a certain way. And I'm not saying it would do the same for you, but I felt really, really good in the shoe. And what happens is it has this huge slab of supercritical foam that just has so much energy return that it propels you forward and in no other direction. And I haven't found a training shoe that cleans my stride up quite like the Invincible Run 3. I've worn these shoes, like this exact pair, for over 1,000 kilometers and it's still kicking. And so I've yet to come across a training shoe that's this durable. So I'm standing by these shoes and I'm waiting for Nike to release the 4 because I really want to try the 4. This shoe's been out for a while now, but still at the end of 2024, I put it on my shoe podium as number 3. Go for the Invincible Run 3 if you like to have a good slab of special / supercritical foam in your daily trainers. 2, if you're a Nike person, that would probably make you much more likely to like the Invincible Run 3s. If you haven't worn Nike very much, it's quite possible that you put these on and think they feel horrible. And finally, if you care about durability and are looking for a pair of shoes that will go the distance for you, this is a really good option. And meanwhile, you might want to stay away from the Invincible Run 3 if you have wide feet. Like I find they're made super narrow, and even with my narrow feet, sometimes I feel a little bit of irritation on the sides. And it might also not be for you if you're looking to save money. So kind of like with the Glycerin Max, the Invincible Run 3 is made with a lot of special foam, and the price reflects that. And the third thing that you might want to consider and avoid if this is not for you is this shoe really does propel you forward. And if you're someone who likes to run a bit more on their heels or just their midfoot on easy days and take things easy, this might push you into doing things that you don't want to do on easy days. Okay, number 2, the ASICS Nova Blast 5. So sliding in at the last minute is ASICS' 5th iteration of the Nova Blast, which is now challenging the Nimbus as being the company's flagship training shoe line. What I noticed when I picked this up for the first time is that the Nova Blast is weirdly light for its size. You typically don't expect training shoes with this much cushioning to be as light as this shoe is. So the FF Blast Max foam is unusually light for an EVA kind of foam, and it's very new. ASICS just debuted the foam in this shoe that they released late in 2024, and in another one of their pairs, the Glide Ride Max, which is the stability alternative to this shoe that they also released pretty recently. And if you take an even closer look, the material is especially impressive because it's very soft, but still allows for better energy return than other EVA foams of its kind. And the outside of the shoe is also cool. It has a little trampoline-like platform at the bottom, which is surrounded by grippy, lightweight threads. Plus, the upper has new mesh that's light and a little bit more breathable than what we saw in the Nova Blast 4. All in all, it makes for a light, bouncy, and super comfortable everyday training shoe. So the Nova Blast 5 might be for you if you're a fan of big cushioned shoes. Also, if you're a fan of pretty light shoes for your training runs. Also, if you're looking for a bargain. These are very reasonably priced. And meanwhile, the Nova Blast 5 might not be for you if you're someone who likes to feel the ground under them. These are almost too plush sometimes, I feel. You can't really feel what the surface feels like. And also, the Nova Blast 5 is not like some of the other shoes on this list that have a little bit of extra pop or propulsion built into it. This is very much a steady, easy running shoe. And so if you're looking for something that also has a bit of zest and pop and can support you for fast strides, this one might not quite have the gears that you're looking for. Okay, who's ready for number one? So I've been told that I can't keep doing drum rolls because it shakes the camera and makes a funny sound. So instead, to mark the importance of the number one pick, let me don the Marathon Handbook trucker hat as I announce the winner. You ready? Okay. We have the New Balance 1080 V14. Okay, so New Balance is a brand that I've loved for a really long time, but I feel like in 2024, all I did was beat down on them. I was just about to call New Balance the bridesmaids of 2024 until a near perfect shoe fell out of the heavens. The 1080 V14 is the best training shoe I've worn all year. So here's why. To me, this version of the 1080 is the Goldilocks shoe. It's not too hard, it's not too cushy, but it's just right. And it's not that New Balance introduced a whole new material. This is Fresh Foam X. It's the same type of foam that New Balance has used, I think, ever since the Zante days. Now, with the 1080 V14, the foam is no different, but it almost seems like they've packed more of it, making it feel like you have all the responsiveness, the durability, and the comfort that you need in this day and age. And a good byproduct of having a huge slab of foam underfoot is great durability. Like, I feel like I could rip through 1,000 kilometers in these shoes. And then the V14 has a little bit more quickness and swagger than previous versions of the 1080. I'm talking about a propulsive, winged outsole and a slightly more breathable upper, though I feel like the upper is still pretty textured. Another cool addition is a more rugged outsole that encourages a stiff toe off, which is what you want, and that's curved into a nice rocker profile to propel your foot forward. So the 1080 V14 might be for you if you're a midfoot striker who doesn't like to feel needlessly pushed back onto your heel or thrusted onto your toes. I'm a midfoot striker, and striking on my midfoot in the 1080 feels very natural. It might also be for you if you're a fan of how shoes used to feel. The 1080 V14 is not shaped like one of the big super trainers or super training shoes of our time, which is kind of a good thing for some people. It's kind of like a blast from the past in the best way possible. And it might also be for you if you're blister prone. So the 1080 V14s are supremely comfortable. I tend to get blisters sometimes, never with these shoes. Meanwhile, the 1080 V14 might not be for you if you do actually like big super shoes or super trainers of the era. These feel pretty ordinary. Same thing with weight. If you're looking for something that is especially light, these are not for you. The weight's very ordinary here. And third, if you're looking to save money, these are actually priced pretty highly and I think they're worth it, but you can find some cheaper shoes that are close alternatives. And that's it. Those are the best 5 daily trainers of 2024 as far as I'm concerned. But I want to know your thoughts. Let me know in the comments if you think I've missed a pair of shoes. I am totally ready to defend any of these pairs, but I'm also curious to know if maybe I missed something. But for now, let's cheers to hopefully another year of great shoe innovations with a cup of empty coffee. Till next time.